first of all, quick wrap up. If anybody has any burning questions from the last session looking at transcriptomics, proteomics searches, or running Go enrichment. Hopefully lots of people were able to run a Go enrichment analysis. So one thing that I did want to highlight in here, and this may get highlighted later again when we do the orthology exercise, but looking here in AmoebaDB, where the question was to ask a question about developmentally regulated genes in dictyostelium. None of us probably here is working currently on dictyostelium, but obviously it's a model organism, and we can learn a lot from these model organisms. And so you can configure these queries as you wish, and then come up with a list of potentially interesting genes that are developmentally regulated. But most of us here are going to be working on vectors or parasites or fungi, and you may be interested in knowing, well, what are the orthologs of these developmentally regulated genes in my organism of choice, right? And so a nice tool we have, in case we did not mention this already, is that you can send data from any of the ViewPathDB websites back to the main ViewPathDB resource, where you can then leverage orthology across all the organisms within ViewPathDB to get those genes. And so I can click on send to, and I can send to viewpathdb.org. And what this does, it opens up a new page with a step that includes this list of genes. And now I can add a step and select transform by orthologs. And now I can select, I was just demonstrating this in my group, where you can transform this to, for example, Trypanosoma brucei. And then I clicked on this, and you get 153 genes that are orthologs of some of the 745 genes from dictyostelium that are developmentally regulated potentially, right? And so this gives you a clue and a hint and some path forward to potentially do some cool research on these genes, or maybe it supports some of the research that you've been doing in the lab.
Let me also add, Omar, as you're getting ready to talk about the single-cell RNA-seq data, among the many functionalities that are available that we haven't had a chance to talk about. So Omar highlighted a really useful feature of being able to export your set of genes from a query in AmoebaDB into ViewPathDB to transform it into other genes you might be interested in Plasmodium or whatever, and import it into PlasmoDB. You can also compare results from different searches. So in my group, I was walking through the first of the expression profiling exercises, running a query based on the differential expression that allows me to define p-values. And in that exercise, I was also asked to run a separate query using the fold change queries. I then combined those two queries by adding a step to my search strategy that allows me to pick one of the other search strategies that I've already run exactly. And so I could directly compare the results of these queries and change the Boolean operators to ask for what was present in one or what was present in the other. Lots of functionality, far more than we can go over today. Feel free to explore, of course, to do these things yourself. And if you're interested in features that you're not able to find, please click on the Contact Us link to let us know. If that functionality is available, we'll be happy to describe it to you. If it isn't, we will add it to the list of features that have been requested by users for possible implementation in a later release.
There is a question about log2 fold change in the chat. For the fold change calculation, can I use the log2 of ratio of TPM? Is it called log2 fold change? And is this the correct way to do it? I believe that is correct.
Yes,
you take the expression values, determine the ratio, and then take the log2 of that. So the fold change is the ratio, and you take the log2 of that depending on how you.
I think that's correct.
That.
Cool. That must be a query that came into you in your session, because I'm not seeing it in the general chat to everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
No, but
that wasn't ours.
It's a good question, and I think that's that is indeed what you're doing when you're using that fold change